we know that going outside and using your arms and legs and big muscles are important to help you physically. We also do those things to help you with your thinking and your mental and your learning. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that as we do some of these activities. So it is important for us to get up and move around during a school day. You might not have time to be outside for any length of time, but you do need to have those periods of long recess. But even while you're doing your book work and watching your videos, you might need to just pause every so often and get up and move around. And we know that kids need to move at least every half hour, or maybe in younger kids, it could even be every 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to have some ideas of things to do. We have one of my first ideas is a brain break. If you have your craft sticks, I asked some of you to get craft sticks. You can, or even strips of paper, and you can write ideas on them. If you don't know what a brain break is, that's just a small, short period of time in your school day where it's like, oh, I need a brain break. So you just get up and you move for just a short period of time, maybe a minute or two. And what's on these sticks are activities that you can do. Like here I have marching. I didn't say how many times. That's up to you and your mom, how many times you would march. So I'll pull this out. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now? I know we just got started into this time together, but stand up and let's march for we'll count to 15 while we march. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. Now, another thing I'd like you to do is during this session, while we're doing these activities, have your mom take pictures or videos of you and doing these activities. And after we're done, she can post them in the comments. And another thing I'd like you to post in the comments are some of these movement activities, these brain break ideas, and have maybe list some of those in there as well. And what I did, I made a nice container. This is actually out of it's a breadcrumb container from in the kitchen. And I just tore the label off and just wrote on it. But you could decorate your container. You could have a jar. And I picked something that you could not see through because I didn't want to see what stick I pulled out. I wanted it to just be random. So I pulled out the marching stick. And I've got some others in here, and we'll look at those later. Every so often I'll say, oh, it's time for a brain break. And we'll pull one out. And I'd like, have your mom take pictures of you doing these things. And I'll look through them later and see what all you've been doing. Now, something else you might want to do is another activity we can do is practice. And we can do some of your schoolwork while you're moving. So we can, if you have your paper plates, have mom get those out with a marker, and we'll go ahead and write on these some letters. And we're going to practice some words, and we'll see what we're going to do with this in a few minutes. So get those plates, and moms, I need you to write the letters A, I, L, N, T, and R. I was trying to read my writing. But yeah, if you could do A, I, L, N, T, R. Well, do you need those letters on some plates? And then what we're going to do, let's scatter them around. So you kids, help your mom. When you get these done, put them around. You can put them in a circle on the floor. Or I missed one letter, the letter P. Put the letter P on one of the plates as well. I knew I had one missing. But we'll put these on the floor, and then we're going to play a little bit of a game with them. All right. So I've got mine on the floor. I don't know, and we'll move this so we can see it a little bit better. So I hope you have yours on the floor and you're ready. So there's my plates. I think you can see them now. All righty. We have the plates. What we're going to do is practice spelling some words and jumping from one plate to the other. And I'm going to try to do this while I'm talking to you. So let's see if we could do it. Let's look for the letter R. We're going to spell the word rain. So how do you spell rain? Let's look for the letter R first. Okay, I found mine. All right. Now, what's the next letter? Letter A. So I need to jump to my letter A. My next letter is I. So jump to the letter I. And then my letter N is way over here. And I got to my letter N. Were you all able to do that? Make sure your mom is taking pictures of you so she can post those later. Our next word, everybody got those? You can rearrange your plates if you want, or you can keep them where they are. But our next word is plain. Like a prairie is a wide plain. Plain. So that's my letter P. The next letter, what is it? L. These are foam plates, so they're making noise. The next letter is A. So I've got my letter A way over here. It's on the other side. And then my I and a letter N. All right, so we've got that word. Were you able to get that word spelled? Okay, what's our next one? And the last word we're going to do is train. So that one starts with a T. So I have my letter T, and then a letter R. Oh, my letter A. Here it is. My letter A, then letter I, and letter N. So there, we were able to practice. We're jumping around in the room, and then we can also practice spelling. So there's some things you can do as well. This is kind of like a hopscotch. You can play this also outside on the driveway, or if you have an empty garage, or if your mom lets you, you could even write with sidewalk chalk on the kitchen floor. And you could do it with sidewalk chalk. You could do it with other materials too. But plates seem to work nicely in the house because you can just pick them up. And you might want to just make a whole stack of all the letters of the alphabet so that you can practice it with any words. And just pull out the ones you need for your spelling list that week. And you can just take a break from sitting and practice your spelling by jumping around the room and moving and getting your body moving, because it is important to move. It helps with helping your brain to connect the thoughts and helps your memory. And did you know that your arms, your arms and legs, your one side of your body is controlled by the other side of your brain. And so if you do activities where your arms cross over, this is the midline, the middle of your body is your midline. If you arms and legs and you do activities where you're crossing over that midline, that helps strengthens those connections. That's why running and climbing are so important whenever you're outside, to use those big muscles. And we want to be able to use those big muscles in the house too. So I think it's time for another brain break. Let me grab this. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, this is head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And this is one you could try to do it different, instead of just doing it head, shoulders, you might try doing it across head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So let's do that together. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Get up get onto your feet and stand up. And let's do head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees, and toes. Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees, and toes. I was picking my knee up so I didn't have to bend all the way to the floor because I'm not. So it's a little bit harder. So you can keep watching me the whole time. So there we did another brain break. I hope you're thinking of some ideas to write on your craft sticks or on your papers and help to write down some of those ideas so then we can share some at the end. All right. So there's other things we can do to get up and move around. I know a lot of you probably have bean bags. Bean bags, you can do several things with those, and those can be really fun. I have a couple things here. I have, I've made 2 baskets. I have 2 baskets. I asked you on the list to get buckets, but I got baskets. My buckets right now have pears in them. My pear tree has a lot of fruit, and we've been picking up pears, so my buckets are full of pears. So anyway, I got the 2 baskets, and I just got paper napkins, and I wrote the word mammal and bird. So I think you could do the same thing. Have your mom get something to be able to label your basket, mammal and bird. And I think all of us know characteristics of mammals and birds. Well, I have my bean bags, and what we can do, I hope, get your buckets and put them on the other side of the room so you can throw your bean bags into those baskets. All right, let me get mine set up and pick up my letters. All right, let me get this so you can see my baskets. And then I need you to help think of characteristics of mammals and birds. I think you know the difference between those, don't you? So let's see, which basket am I going to get this into? All right, I got mine into the mammal basket. Think of a characteristic. Can you think of what are the characteristics of a mammal? The first thing I think of is they have hair or fur. So that's a characteristics of a mammal. What characteristic did you think about? All right, let's try another one. Oh, I got in mammal again. Okay, mammals are warm-blooded. We know that. Mammals are warm-blooded. I'll try one more time. Try to get a bird. All right, there we are. I got a bird. What's the characteristics of a bird? They have feathers. So that's another easy activity you can do where you're moving your arms and you're up on your feet, and then you have to go back and forth to gather up your bean bags. But you can practice and review activities that way. I also have a beanbag. Actually, I have a beanbag toss game set up that I have, and it has numbers on it. And that's somewhat a way that you could even practice math facts. So I have the bottom row has 1s, the middle row has 2s, the top row has 3s. So let's see, what math facts do you want to practice? You can practice addition or multiplication. Why don't we do those? And whichever one you think you need practice with, you could try that. And we'll start out with the numbers. Whatever numbers I throw in there, you'll have to either add it on or multiply it on to the number that you already got. Let's do a little bit of mental math and see how that goes. So I have, I got the number 2. That beanbag went in the number 2. So we have, all right. So we had the number 2. So think of that. And what are we going to do? A number 1. So you either need to add or multiply 2 plus 1 or 2 times 1. So, okay, so you have a number there. Another 2. So either add or multiply 2 onto the number that you already had. We'll try one more. See if I can get it. Oh, I got a 3. So add or multiply a 3 onto the number, the total that you had. So you could practice and do math facts, do things like that. You could put other labels on your goals. You could do different things with doing beanbags. Another thing, nice thing to do with beanbags is to just toss them in the air or toss them back and forth. And you and your brother and sisters can play hot potato with them. There's a lot of different games that you can play with beanbags. So that makes it a lot of fun, and it gets you up and it gets you moving around. I think it might be time for another brain break. So let me see what else I have in my jar. I have jumping jacks. Now, I don't know if I can do jumping jacks. It might wiggle the screen too much. But let's do just 5 jumping jacks. Okay? All right. Get up on your feet. Get your arms ready. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 jumping jacks. All right. So we're getting along, we're getting up, we're getting moving, and it's getting very warm in my house. Even though I have air conditioning, it's a very warm, humid day here. Another thing you can do in the house that doesn't really make a mess is play with a balloon. I hope you have a balloon. That's one thing I asked for. Now, you might need to have your mom, and I should have probably done this ahead of time, was blown up my balloon. So let's blow your balloon up, but don't tie it in a knot. Just hold it, okay? See how we can do this. I'm not going to blow mine really big, but you could have it at one end of the room, and then you let it go and see where it goes, and then you have to chase it and get it, blow it up again, let it go, and chase it. So that's a fun game that you could play, and you could do that with several balloons and with your brothers and sisters, or even mom or dad, and play with those. And so you have your balloon, and then you let it go. So mine went clear over by the stove, so I could run over there and catch it, and then do it again. Another thing you can do with a balloon, I'm just going to start another one. Is go ahead and blow it up and then tie a knot in it, and just play with it and hit it in the air. You can play indoor volleyball with it. You can have you can do a bunch of them and have a snowball fight with balloons and try to see how good you can try to get them to the other person and try to pretend it was a snowball fight. But there's a lot of things, but chasing a balloon around the room up in the air, that really gets you moving as well. And that's just something nice and easy that you can do with a balloon. And then I know all of you probably have balls. And so a ball is a fun thing to use. And this is something where you can kind of do almost the same thing as the balloon, but just toss it in the air and catch it. You can toss it between two people. If you're outside, you can bounce it against a wall, but you can also bounce it on the floor. And depending, and if you're just doing these for short periods of time, just between subjects or something like that, you can bounce the ball in the house for a minute. This is another way that you can count. You can do skip counting. Do you know what skip counting is? That's when you count by twos or by threes or by fours, and you could practice multiplication tables. But get your ball ready, and let's skip count. Let's just do by twos up to 20, and you bounce. Each time you bounce, you count. So be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so you could just get up and do something like that with a ball and bounce a ball. So there's a lot of things you can do with balls. You could also even do the beanbag toss with a ball. Maybe you might need a bigger basket or a bucket, or probably a closed basket. So if you wanted to do something like that, a review game or something, you could do it with closed baskets that are a little bit bigger. And then you could use a ball, this size ball, or you could use smaller balls. You don't want one that's too bouncy, though, because then it bounces and it might hit furniture or lights or mom's pretty knickknacks. So you don't want to do it too much like that. But there's a few other ideas that I have. We know that we do need to, I was trying to think what else. Movement helps us with reading and coordination. We know that it helps with coordination, being able to move and grab things, but also you have your eyes and your hands coordinate together. And so you want to have good coordination that way, and also with your feet to be able to do things. So dribbling a ball, even if you're like walking across the floor, and you could be bouncing your ball around that way. So one other thing I really thought we might want to do is let me get them first. Here. You have your blocks. Did you get some wooden blocks? I have a whole box of wooden blocks, but I have my blocks. I have the bigger kind. I have 11 grandkids, so I have a grandma house. So I've got lots of things here. But we have wooden blocks And or you could have any other small toy that's probably not balls because you don't want them to roll around. You might even use your bean bags. But let's get about 8 or 10 of them and put them around different places around on the floor. And then what we are going to do is kind of make it into an obstacle course to where you have to walk around it. So we have our blocks. We'll move this thing out of the way. There we go. So anyway, I've got some blocks laid out. And then once you make your obstacle course, it can go from room to room, down the hallway. You could even have it going up the steps. But you would just walk around, back and forth, around each block. And you might even want to make it to where you have to go around it twice. But you follow your blocks and walk around and around them. And so did you put your blocks out? I hope you're taking a picture so we can see how you walk around and what type of obstacle course you made. Now you could even have it to where you have a step stool in there, then you have to climb over the step stool to continue your course. But your blocks can mark out your course, and then you could put other things in the way, like a chair or a big pillow or a stuffed animal, and then you have to walk or jump around over those. So there's a lot of things that you can do and have fun activities in the house. I think it might be time let's do one last brain break. Well, let's do this one. Here's a brain break here. This one says walk around the room. So let's walk around the room 2 times. Don't run and don't race with your brother or sister, but just walk around the outside of your room as much as you can and do that 2 times. Go ahead. I'll wait for you to get that done. Okay. All right. So we've been learning about a lot of activities and things that we can do to get up and move, and some reasons why it's important. So we can review that too. Physical exercise does have many benefits, and you know that it does help build strong muscles and strong bones, but it's also going to help your mind and your brain make good connections and help you with learning. And if you tend to be fidgety and you fidget a lot, which is what I do, I can fidget a lot. I notice that, especially if I'm sitting still and other people are sitting still around me, I start fidgeting. I do that in church. It's like I'm always moving. But that just, your body sometimes, and even if your intention, if you get distracted easily, which is me also, I have some learning problems as well. But to take a break and get up and move for a short period of time, it helps you to sit back down and get back to work and to focus. So help your mom maybe figure out how you're going to work some of these into your day. Some of these other activities you might even want to put in as your brain break ideas. So and then also make sure that your movement includes crossing over the middle of your body. That also helps with helping your brain and your muscles and all your nerves to be able to connect and your thinking and for school that way. And so we need, let's see. I was just going to talk about, there's lots of other things that we can do. I think you probably know some clapping games, different ones that you can do. And those are just moving, that can be moving your body. I have, with some of my grandchildren, we sing a lot of the nursery rhyme songs and some of that. And so there's usually movements and motions. I know a lot of your Sunday school songs and children's church songs, those probably have movements with them. And so like you can do deep and wide. So that's moving your arms and getting those going. And there's other ones where you're marching and different activities. So think of some songs and things that you can do to get up and move that way. You could also play music. I should have probably had some music, and get up and move with music. That really helps with connections. And music is beneficial for your thinking and brain. and remembering. And that's why a lot of our learning concepts as you're learning with your schoolwork, there's a lot of times there's little songs that go along with it, and that helps you to remember. And if you add motions to that, that's going to help your body and help your mind to remember a lot better. So we can do that. So let's see. I have one more big brain break to do, activity. And this is one way of doing it where you actually pick 5 brain breaks. So I've got 5 of them here, but you start out, the first one you pick, you do 5 of it. And the next one you do 4, and the next one you do 3, and the next one 2, and the next one 1. So I have, let's see, get down on the floor and jump like a frog 5 times. Do 5 frog leaps across the floor. And you can do that if you want to do it with a sibling, jumping over each other, or just get down and jump 5 times. So go ahead and do that. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So jump 5 times. Okay, what's something else we can do? Windmills. Windmills is one that I might be able to do that one with you. Let's do 4 windmills. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I almost did 5. So we do 4 windmills and then hop on 1 foot. So we'll do that one. How many times will we do that? 3 times. Hop on 1 foot. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hopping on 1 foot. Spin around. Spin around 2 times. So 1, 2. So these are giving you some ideas of brain breaks that you can add to your jar. And the last one is touching your toes. So that's just 1 time. So just touch your toes 1 time. Okay. So I hope you had fun today and that we did these activities. I think I did everything that I was hoping to do with you. And I hope that you do try to do some of these during the school year. And when you're doing your classwork, you are able to stop and take a brain break. And maybe even during the school year, you can even add and show us pictures of what kind of cans you make and brain break activities that you do. And don't forget to get out a balloon and have some fun and do some other things to get up and to move around. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.